Thanks for joining today's topic for the Code Without Barriers virtual meetup. And really happy to see you guys join with us on an evening after work. And today's weekend also. I hope you guys having some plans. And yeah, for today's session, we had a topic on creating responsible AI solution using Azure AI content safety. So for the today's topic, we have Naveen Kumar joining with us, and he's going to be taking through this topic. And he's also a data engineer and C Sharp Corner MVP, and he is a global speaker as well. And he's gonna take us through the topic and um, you know uh, get into it. Before we go into the session, I just want to share that the session is recorded. No need to record it on your side. And we'll be providing the recording. And secondly, there is a certificate of participation, which will be shared, the form which you can fill out, and you should receive it in your email. Okay. That's pretty much everything that I wanted to share. And we'll be also sharing the link to our community and also to Code Without Barriers to the women who had joined today to participate over there for the opportunity to be skilling up and participating in the challenges that they provide. Okay, that's pretty much it, and we can now directly jump into the session. Over to you, Naveen.
Yeah, thank you, Suraj, for the warm welcome. Hope I'm audible clearly.
Yes, you are.
Okay, yeah, let me share my screen. Okay,
Yes, we can see your screen.
thank you. So, okay, yeah. So, hello everyone. Good morning and good evening. Today's session is all about how we are going to create a responsible AI solution using Azure AI Content Safety Service. This is one of the interesting topic because how we are going to create a trustworthy AI solution. Okay, so before getting to the topic, let's introduce myself. I'm Naveen Kumar. I'm a data engineer and I have overall 13 plus years of experience in IT. I'm handling data, ETL, and right now stepping into the AI as well. And I'm two times a C Sharp Corner MVP, and I hold 4 Azure certifications. I'm a technical blogger, speaker, and I'm a mentor. And if you have any queries related to AI data, and if you have any certification guidance, if you need it, you can always reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. You can scan this and you can connect with me if you have any guidance or the roadmap, or if you need any career guidance required. Okay, so directly we'll get into the today's topic. So what we are going to see as part of creating the responsible AI solution using Azure AI Content Safety. How we are going to create a responsible solution, all right? So how we are going to moderate a text content, and how we are going to moderate a image content, and moderating the multimodal content, and how we are going to detect the protected material in the text. These protected material in the text and the protected material in the code are the two new features added in the content safety, and how we are going to distinguish the direct attack and indirect attack, the jailbreaks using the prompt shield, and how we can monitor all these content safety in monitor online activity service. And finally, we will see implementing the responsible AI in the content safety studio. Basically, it will be in the AI foundry. Okay, so these are all the items we are going to see today. And the very first topic is Azure AI content safety. So what is Azure AI content safety? So AI content safety is a service which detects harmful content or the user generated content or AI generated content in any of the application or a services. So that is a content safety. Okay. So if you want to moderate both AI and user generated content, you can use Azure AI content safety service. Okay. So here you will be able to moderate a text, image, and multimodal content. So when I say multimodal content, it is the combination of text and image. Okay, so these things we can do it using Azure Safety Content. And this Azure Content Safety Service is part of Azure AI Foundry. Okay, earlier we call it as AI Studio. Now it has been revamped into Azure AI Foundry. Okay, the next one is the categories. So when it comes to the content safety, the four main categories plays a role here. So hate, sexual, self-harm, and violence. So whenever you put any input prompt, so the prompt will scan based on these four categories, and it will detect whether to approve or block the content. So whether the content, the prompt which is given is a safe or it's a harmful one. So the four categories will be categorized based on the severity levels. So when you see the severity level 0 to 6, 0 in the sense it is a safe content. When it comes to 6, it's a high severe content. Okay. When 2 is a low and 4 is for a medium. Okay. Similarly for a hate, sexual, self-harm and violence. Okay, so when the content, the prompt which we are giving as an input, when it identifies as a high risk, the severity score written as 6, so it will be a highly risk content and it will be blocked. When the result, the severity score between 2 to 4 and it's a medium risk, and whether we have to block it or we have to approve it depends on the moderator. The content will be approved or rejected. And the last one will be the lower risk. Lower risk in the sense it's a 0. It will be a safe content. It will be auto approved. Okay. So that is the main four categories of the content safety service. So if you see the severity levels here, the safe, which is 0, low, which is 2, medium, which is 4, high, which is 6. And we have categorized the severities: violence, self-harm, sexual, and hate. So if you go to the content safety portal, and when you look, it will be look like this, what you can see it on the right hand side. Okay, so whatever you're seeing it on the left hand side, it's little old. When you're currently, if you go right now and see, it will look like this. So you will not see the current, whatever the colored one, right? So you will not see this one, so you will see only this particular one. So where you can identify whether it's the severity levels, you can check here. And the Azure Content Safety APIs. Okay, so we saw about the severities and the severity levels. So now we want to moderate a text. Okay, so when we want to moderate text, whether identify whether is there any harmfulness, is there any inappropriate content is there, so we can use a text detection API. Okay, so using this API, we can identify the harmfulness and inappropriate content from the uh, text. And if you want to do the same thing for an image, we have an image detection API. The same thing we can do for the image. And when you want to do the multimodal or you have a block list kind of things, then you can use an API, text block list management API. So these three APIs used in the content safety to create a responsible AI solutions along with the four severity levels. Okay. The next one is, this is the content safety homepage. When you create a content safety service, when you land into the content safety studio, this will be your homepage. And here, the initially we saw, we are going to see about the moderate text content and moderate image content, moderate multimodal content, and protected material detection for text, protected material detection for code. And the prompt shell, the unified platform where we can identify the direct and indirect jailbreak attacks. Okay, and then finally we'll see the monitoring things, how we are going to monitor the content safety service, and how we are going to create a responsible AI. So the thing we need to see, right? The when we are creating the responsible AI, if you see from, you have to come from the model, safety system, system message and grounding, user experience. Okay, when it comes to the model, we have to choose the right model for our use case. So when I say the right model, it is an open AI model, we can call it as. So in AI Foundry, we have a model catalog. When you go into the model catalog, you will see the list of OpenAI models available there. So I think almost 1,800 models are available right now. So from the Microsoft or the vendors as well, like NVIDIA, Meta, and Hugging Face, all those models are available in the model catalog. So we need to choose which is the right model for our use case to find the relevant content. Okay, so once you identify the right model, then we need to build our system, the safety systems. Okay, so where we can um, protect and monitor our content based on the various type of capability which we see earlier, right? It could be a text, image, or a multimodal, the material code or a text, right? So even the prompt shielding, everything, it will comes under the safety system. So the monitoring to protect, so we need to build a system. So once we have built the system, the third step is we need to ground our content. So, okay, the system message and grounding will be the third step. So we need to ground our content based on the system messages, or we can use the users giving some input message or Bing related search messages. So all this content, basically the prompt or the content or the material, so it should be grounded in based on some correct behavior, or managed based on some content safety technologies. Okay, so once we have grounded all the messages for our model, then we need to design it. So we have to design it in the sense, the framework, the responsible AI framework, which the user going to use it. So it should be the user experience, right? So we have to design the AI framework, the responsible AI framework for a human interaction. So this is how we build a responsible AI solution for Azure AI Foundry. So using the Azure AI content safety. Okay. The next one is the prerequisites. Okay. So here I'll show you the demo. So we'll be creating a Python based solution, and we'll identify the harmfulness, and we'll see the severity score in that. So to build that solution, what is the prerequisites are needed? So we need the Python 3.7 library, and we need an Azure subscription, and we need to have Azure AI content safety resource. So as part of demo, we are going to create a content safety resource, and we'll see that one. Okay, so directly I'll go to the demo now. So I'm into the Azure portal now. Okay, so first we need to create a content safety service. So in the search, looking for a content safety. So when I click content safety, I'm just clicking that. I already have provisioned one of the content safety service already. So I'm going to create a new one now. So I'm just click on create. To create a content safety, we said, right, we need a subscription. So Microsoft provides a free subscription when you're subscribing for a first time. So you'll get a 30 days $200 credit, and 12 months of time for free services, you can utilize it. Okay, so if you are done with your free credits, then you have to move to the pay as you go. So you can create a subscription. So I have chosen my own subscription, and you need to select a resource group. So resource group is the top level of container in the Azure service. So where all your resources will be grouped under it. So if you want to don't have an existing resource group, you can go ahead and create it here. If you have already defined your resource group, then you can go on create it. So I have already have my resource group, so I'm selecting it. And when you're creating the content safety, you may need to provision it in the region. So I'm selecting the East US region. So whenever you're trying to create this particular service, ensure that that service is available in that particular region or not, and then go ahead and create it. So I'm choosing an East US region where the content safety is available, and I'm going to give it a name, content safety demo AI 101. So content safety demo AI 101. And then we have to select the pricing tier. So we have two options, free and standard. When you select a free, right, there will be some services will not be able to use it. So we have very limited service. So it's always better to use a standard S0. So I have selected the standard service. So once you have given all these details, click on next, and you can leave default for network identity tag. So I'm just click next, next. And then when it comes to review to create, it's running the validation. So whatever the details we have filled, it's valid or not. So once the validation is complete, the create button is enabled here. So click on create. So the deployment has been initialized. So we have to wait. It will take a minute or two to complete the deployment. So let's wait for the deployment to complete. So deployment is in progress now. Yeah, so deployment is completed. So click on go to resource. It will take you to the content safety service. So here we are in the content safety service, the resource. So before once you have created a content safety service, the first thing you need to do is for a user, you need to give identity access control. So as a cognitive service user, so we need to give this role. So then only we can access the content safety, and we can do all those moderations, text, image, everything. So to do that, first thing, click on this access control IAM. So in the resource itself, and click on add role assignment. And here search for cognitive service user. So just scroll down to see, yeah, cognitive service user, select this, click on next. So you can check here if you are using any user group or service principal, or you are going for a managed identity. I'm going to use the default one. And if you want, you can select the members here by selecting it. So it will check. So I have here, I am then selecting it. And then finally, you can review and assign it. So the assignment role assignment has been adding. Okay, so once this is done, so if you want to see, you can come here to the role assignment, and you can see, so myself, I added as a cognitive service user for this particular content safety resource. Now let's go to the overview page. And if you scroll down, you can see a content safety studio. Okay, so just click on this content safety studio. This will take you to the studio homepage, which we saw, where we could see the text moderation, image moderation, all those items, right? All those services. So we could see here. So here we could see this is the homepage of Content Safety Studio. So here, okay. So we have a moderate text content. We have a protected material detection for text and for code. We have the unified platform where we can identify the direct and indirect jailbreak attacks, the prompt shield. And we have the image moderation, multimodal moderation. And finally, we have the monitor online activity. Okay, and this multimodal content is still in the preview mode, so we can just go ahead and try this out. Okay, then we'll first go and see the text moderation. So I'm just going to click try it out. So once it came, so here we need to select our content safety resource. Since I have already created my old one, so it has default selected demo content. So I'm just choosing a different, which are I created newly now. Content safety demo AI 101 is the one which I created now. So I'm just going to use this resource for now. Okay. So let's give a minute. Yeah. So the resource has been selected now. And now we are going to see the moderate text content, how we are going to identify the harmfulness or the inappropriate content from the text. So we have four options here. One is the safe content, violating content, and multiple risk category, and one with the multiple language. So we'll go one by one and see. So I'll just select the safe content. So when I check the safe content, what is the input? What is the content we have? Yeah, just check here the content. Chopping tomatoes and cutting them into cubes or edges are great way to practice your type skill. So if you see this content, it's safe, right? So if you go and run this test, it will analyze this content and it will provide the severity. So if you see this content has been allowed. So when you check the severity level for the hate, violence, sexual and self-harm, it's the severity level is safe. And when it comes to the threshold, it's all a medium and judgment, it is allowed. So this is a text moderation by simple content. We are just checked with the simple content whether it's a safe or not. Now next we'll see the another example, violent content with misspellings. If you see here, right, the dog was, we have some spelling, the incorrect spellings we can see here. Bleeding spelling is incorrect. Yeah, and tissue spelling is incorrect. So this seems to be something harmless, right? Self-harm, the violence thing. So let's give a test, run test and see what kind of content it is. So this content has been blocked because the rejected by the filter, the violence category. So we could see the violence category where we have the misspellings are there. So when you check the result here, and this particular content has been blocked for violence and the judgment says the blocked. Okay. The judgment says blocked for a violence. Okay, so this is about the violence. Let's take the multiple risk category. So we saw a simple prompt and we saw one with misspelling. So now we'll have multiple risk because the first one was safe and the second one was the violence. When the content has the multiple categories, that we have four categories, right? Hate, self-harm, sexual, and violence. So when we have multiple, how it will be identified. So if you see here, a 51-year-old man was found dead in his car. There were blood stains on the dashboard and windscreen. At autopsy, a deep, oblique, long, incised injury was found on the front of the neck. It turns out that he died by suicide. So this has the content says something a violent self-harm, right? So this will be something inappropriate, the harmful content. So let's run the test and identify the result. It gives you the category like the content is blocked, but it's blocked based on the category self-harm and violence, right? And if we see the result, you can see the judgment for violence is blocked and self-harm is blocked, and the severity level for violence is medium and self-harm is medium. Correct, right? So till now we have seen the simple and multiple risk category and one with the block, right? If we want to identify some harmful words, some inappropriate words, and we want to block the content. So here we have a parameter called use block list. So click on this use block list and you can add a new block list. So what I'm going to tell here is restrict words. So list of words to restrict in the content. So I'm just going to create it. So here I'm going to give a word like died, and I'll give suicide. I'll give kill, knife. So I'm just given these words, okay, and I'm just done. So in my content, if it identifies such words, then it will block this content as a harmfulness based on the categories available. So let's rerun this test. So now it has been blocked with the same self harm and violence. But if you see the block list detection, the content has died and suicide word. Okay, so this is one of the parameter we have to identify it. Okay, and the next one is the multiple language in one sentence. So if you see here, painful twist in his arms, then punch him in the face, and the sentence continues in the French, the different language. So when we get this type of content, it needs to be identify whether this content is safe or not. So again, it is blocked for violence. Seems something violence category, it's been mentioned in the different language. So that's been identified as a violence, and this particular content has been blocked. So if you see the severity level at the violence, it's a medium, and the judgment is blocked. So this is all about in the text moderation, how we are going to do the text moderation, right? The safe, violent content, multiple risk, and multiple language. Okay. So the next what we are going to see is the image, how we are going to moderate the image, how when we identify some harmfulness in the image, how we are going to detect. Okay. So before this, I'll go back to the text content. So here we saw only the simple test, right? Just when we want to do the bulk, so if you say safe content, we have only one liner of code, and even in the violent we have. So when we want to do a bulk, so here we have a bulk test. So when you check here the data with safe content, we have many contents, we have multiple contents we have here, right? And if you see the label 0, so initially we saw the severity score 0. 0 means safe. So when you have multiple contents, when you run this test, so it will analyze and it will provide a result for each content. So if you see the allowed is 100%, blocked is 0. So whatever the content it's available, all are safe, because at initially we could see the label is 0. So 0 is safe. So if the label is not 0, then we have some other severities are there. So we'll check that example. Data set with multiple risk categories. So here you could see the label 1. Okay, so it's a medium. So let's run this test. It'll take a little time. So the file is getting loaded because we have 100 records, because we are doing the bulk test. So yeah, so if you see the result, 74% of the content is allowed and 26% of it's blocked. And we have a precision, the other metrics as well. Precision, when what is the precision is when one of the content is identified as a harmfulness, so that will be the precision. So when it comes to recall, again, when one of the content is in violence or the self harm, so it will be called a recall. And when the F1 score, when the content is in both precision and recall, the it's not equal to 0. The point is the score is not equal to 0. It means the F1 score. So we have these matrices as well. So when you check the severity details per record, so we have judgment blocked and hate is medium. And for this particular content, hate is high. So similarly, we have safe is medium. We have the judgments decided here. So this is for the bulk test. So similarly, we have for a data set with multiple languages. So it remains same. So we'll directly get into the image moderation now. So first we'll see the safe content. So here we see the images are blur. So as part of the responsible AI privacy policy, by default, all the images are in Azure. It will be considered as blur. By default, it will be blur. And if you want to see, you can just image preview and we can see. If you look at this particular image, this seems to be a safe. It's a approved one. So let's run a test. So we can see it. This content has been allowed. So all the categories, heat, violence, sexual, self-harm, all are safe, and the threshold and the judgment is allowed. So let's take some self-harm content. So if you look at this particular content, lady with a knife, right? It seems to be a self-harm, violence. So let's run this test and see what is the result. So this has been blocked. It's rejected by the filter category self-harm. And when you see the judgment here, it has been blocked and self-harm threshold is medium. Okay, high. Sorry, it's a high. Severity level is high. Okay, and this is for a sexual content. So this is an AI generated image. So when we run this and we can check whether the content is allowed or blocked. So it's blocked by rejected by the filter sexual category. Okay, so this is a simple test, and if you want to do a bulk test, you can do the bulk test here. So data set with a safe. So here we have multiple images here. Okay, so if you see the label as 0, if I click view images, so you can see multiple images here. And when you run the test, this content is being allowed because the label is 0. We don't see any harmfulness in this particular content. So allowed percentage is 0 and blocked is, allowed is 100% and blocked is 0. And the next one is the dataset with multiple risk categories. So yeah, so here we can see some car accident, injury, some labels are 1. So let's run this particular test. So here the allowed percentage is 89.5 and the blocked is 10.5. So similarly, we have the judgment and the severity levels we can identify is violence is high, and here self-harm is high. So similarly, you can see. So these are all the inbuilt, the pre-built contents we are testing it. If you have any content on your own where you want to check, so you can just click a browse. We have where you have a content in a file, you can browse and you can upload it and you can run a test here. So this is with the bulk test. So similarly, it will for the sexual content as well. So the next one, the third one, what we are going to see is multimodal content. So multimodal content is it's a mixture of the text and image. So first example we'll see as a safe. So here we can see the image with text. So let's run this, and this content is allowed. Similarly for all the severity, judgment, everything it will be same. So let's go for some harmfulness and let's see the image. Yeah, kill them before they kill you. So we have this particular image, and when we run this test, it will be a self-harm content. So it will be blocked. Sorry, it's a violence and it has been blocked. And the last one is the harmfulness image we have. So when we run this, so this is the self-harm, it has been blocked. Here also you have a bulk test, so where you have multiple contents, and when you run based on the label, it will identify your scores and all. Okay, so it's similar what we saw in the image moderation and text moderation. Okay, so these three are the moderated contents: the text, image, and the multimodal. The next one, what we are going to see is protect material detection for text. So protect material detection for text is what it is when you have a content, that content is like a patented or copyrighted. If someone has ownership on that particular content, so this will identify and it will tell this particular content has detect some violations. So we have a protected lyrics. So we have some lyrics, and let's see whether this lyrics is safe or it is already being used by someone else. So if you see here, the protected material for text has been detected. So which means this particular lyric has been used by someone else. Someone has licensed on it. Okay. And the next one is protected recipe. It's similar. Whether I have created some recipe, but I'm not sure whether it's a unique one. It's own to me, or I have copied it from someone else. So when I run this, so again, I can see that the protected material as text has been detected. So this content also it's been used when someone else. So it is a copied content. It's not a unique content. So here also we have a bulk. So where you have someone has written some kind of an article or something where you want to identify if it's an AI generated content or it's a user generated content. So when it comes to the AI generated content, it has been combined from multiple sources and it will frame a sentence, right? So when you test such things, it will be detected here. Okay, so this is all about the protected material detection for text. And the next one is protected material detection for code. So when we are writing some code, if we write it, it's our own unique code, then it's fine. But when we are copying the licensed code, where the no SSN license are there, MIT license are there, when the some codes are there in the GitHub with a license, when we are trying to use it in our own project, so we need to identify the code is protected or not. So here we have a protected code. So here we have some set of codes we have available to check whether this code is safe or not. Let's see. See here, the protected material code has been detected. So in the following 9 GitHub repos and attached license. So it has one no SSN license and the same code has been used in these 9 GitHub repositories. So when you are writing some code, we can check whether this code is written by the person or it is copied by someone, some of the repos. Okay. And similarly, we have another example. So when we run the test, so again, the same has been detected and the following code found in 7 GitHub repository. And this particular code has a MIT license and no SSN license as well. And the one more test, it is a protected. When you check here, run the test. Again, same, this particular code has been detected in one GitHub repo, which is a no SSN license. And finally, the last test is the non-protected code, which means this example which is given here, this particular code is not available in any of the repo which is written by the user uniquely. So if you see this no protected material for the code has been detected, which means this content is unique to the user. Okay. So this is about the protected material detection. So till now, we have seen the three moderations, text, image, multimodal, and two protected material detection, text and code. The next one, we are going to see the prompt shield. So the unified platform where to identify the jailbreaks. Okay. So where you have some input prompt and in the prompt where you have some harmful inappropriate words to identify that prompt shielding. Okay, so first we'll see the safe content. Hi GPT, what's the role of your AI system? So if this content is safe or not, so run the test and there is no jailbreak attacks on this particular input, the prompt. Okay, and when we check the next one, the prompt attack content. So here if you see the example DAN, right, do anything now, which is an a harm. Okay, so this content when you run test, so jailbreak attacks were detected in the user prompt because this can do anything. The prompt when we give do anything, so it can go and break your code or your application when the user gives some input. Okay, so where we can use this prompt shield, for example, where you have a healthcare assistant bot, so where user put some prompt and um, he detects some prompt with unsafe in nature or the person's details, right? Where we need to safeguard the content. So that scenarios when it identifies such prompts, this prompt shield will upfront jail and identify that attack and it will save our solution. The AI solution will be the responsible AI solution. So that will be the user prompt prompt shield. And the next one will be the document content. So the document content where we have the user prompts, where some of the articles, as I said in the earlier, right? So where we want to identify that article content is as any jailbreak or not. So not only the prompt, we can use some documents as well. So here, see, here also we could identify some jailbreak contents are available in this particular document. Okay. And the next one is we can do the for the image and text where we have a multimodal content, right? The combination of image and text we did. Similarly, here we have a prompt and document. So both we can do. So the user prompt also there, and we have some document where you have the content. So when you run this test, so here also we can see whether the jailbreak attacks are there or not. So if you see, yes, it is there. It's detected in both user prompt and document. So this is the prompt shield. And finally, we'll see the monitoring one. So the monitor online activity. So when you have this content safety services running for days, kind of a 24 hours, 7 days, or the n number of days it's running. So where you want to monitor it, okay. So here is the option. So the API type is, initially we discussed the three APIs, right? Text API and image API and the block list management API. So the here we can select it. So we have a text API and we can see the monitoring activity, the traffic, the API traffic we have, and we have the response latency in the milliseconds, and we have the severity distributed based on violence, hate, and sexual and self-harm categories, and rate rejected per category, and we have the severity distribution on the violence, hate, self-harm, sexual, and if you have any block list, we have given some words in the block list, right? So it will detect how many words has been detected and everything. So this is all about the text. If you want to see for an image, you can go and select the image and it will give you the same set of monitoring slides for you. So we have the API latency, same the AI detections for the four categories, rejection rates, everything. And we cannot see the multimodal because it's still in preview mode, and we could see the protected material. Since we don't have any live code is available, so we'll not see, only for the text we have, and we could see this. So this is how we can see, monitor the online activity. By default, it gives 7 days. You can change it to 24 hours, and number of custom days also you can set it up. So this is all about the how we are going to build a responsible AI solution using a content safety. So where we can see text, image, multimodal moderation, code and text protected material detection, and to identify the direct indirect jailbreaks using the prompt shield. And finally, we are monitoring the content safety activities. Okay. So this is a demo. Let's go back to the presentation. So we have seen an example for the content safety from the UI itself. So now we discussed we will be creating some Python based solution, right? So to use that Python based solution, first we need to have a library. So to install that, pip install Azure AI Content Safety. So this library we have to install it. So after install it, how we are going to create a text moderation using the Python. So you are not going to use a UI for your solution where you have your application or a solution where you will need to implement a Python based code. So where you can use it for a text moderation. First, you have to install the Azure AI Content Safety package, and then you have to import the keys and endpoint from the portal where we created the content safety. From there, you can take the keys and things, and then you need to have a content safety API class you need to give, and then you need to construct the analyze text option class, and you need to pass the prompt to this class. Once you have, you need to define the try and catch block, and where you can have the error handling, and finally you can print the severity results And this is how we can do the text moderation in the Python. And when it comes to the image moderation, it will be remain same. The only change here is you can change the class. There we use analyze text. Here we are going to use a analyze image option class here. So that is the only change we are going to here. Okay, so let's look into the Python demo. So here I have a code here, the text moderation. Okay, so here we have a Azure content safety package has been imported, and we have a key and endpoint. So let me go and copy the key and endpoint. So I'll go to the Azure resource overview page, and here I have a manage keys. Click on this keys, and you can copy the keys here. Copy the key, and I'll come to my code. I'll update my key here. Now I need to copy the endpoint. I'll copy this content safety demo AI which I created. So I'll replace this thing. Now, so once I have defined the key and endpoint, the next one is we need to define a client, right? So content safety client where we are giving the key and endpoint, and then we are constructing the request. So analyze text option, we are going to use it here. When it comes to image, we are going to use the analyze image option. So under this, I have given my prompt here. Okay, so this is an example which we see it in the text moderation, the misspelling. So the same prompt I have given here. And then we have a try clutch block where we have the exceptions handle. And at the end, we are calculating the severity score and then printing the severity score. Okay. So now let's run this solution and see. Okay. So I'll go here, new terminal. Okay. Okay, Python. So my Python file is text moderation dot py. Okay, so the spelling is incorrect. So it's running. So the content is harmless, right? The severity level 4. Okay, the self harm. So it has been detected the violence category in this particular prompt. So the severity level is 4. Okay, now let's check for image moderation. Okay, so I have an image moderation. So here also the same. I have defined the content safety and I have a key endpoint. I need to give the image path. Okay, so I have given the image path here. I have two images, one with bullet and the other one with a knife. While chopping the tomato, the blood is coming with the knife. So these two are there. Okay, so now I have to update my key. So what I'll do, I'll just copy from this. Okay, let me save this. Okay, so rest all it's same here and nothing changed. So only this analyze image option here. Instead of prompt, I have given the image file here to read it from the image data. Okay, so rest all it will be same. So let's run this. Python image duration.py. So the first the image it's used here is the bullet, right? The violence category. So the severity level says 2 here, violence category. So now what we'll do, let's put some different image, the image dot this one, and then we'll give a try. Okay, so I'll update the image here. Okay, we save it. And this image chopping an tomato with knife, it finger has been cut, it's bleeding. So this image is like a self harm on the violence category, right? So now let's again give a try. So now let's see the severity score. The self harm severity is 6 and the violence category is 2. It's medium. So severity is high for a self-harm. So this is how we'll do the image moderation and the text moderation using the Python. Okay, and let's go back to the slide. So we have seen the image moderation, and the next one is the content safety use cases. So where we'll use this one is the online marketplace. So where we want to moderate the product catalog and we want to use user generated content in the marketplace, right? Where that's one of the use cases, and you want to moderate the gaming platform, moderate user generated game artifacts in the chat rooms and all, you can identify it. And the next one is the social messaging platform, which is the messages or the images in the social media to identify their its safety or not. So that will be the social messaging platform. And the next one is the enterprise media. So the organization level, the chat rooms or the contents which is used in the organizations to identify whether the moderation is approved or not, to implement the centralized moderation for that content in the organization level. And when it comes to the education, so in the education e-learning portals where we have filtering out the content which is inappropriate for the students or the educators, so we can identify and block those type of contents at the education level. So that is the content safety use case. And so this is what we have seen now. And the last one is the pricing. So when it comes to the pricing for a region, each region the pricing will differs. For US, when you go to the portal, when you check for a pricing, you can select a different region. For East US, for free web, it's allowed for 5,000 text per month. And when it comes to image also, it's 5,000. And for a text prompt shield, the standard one, right, where we see it's the whatever we have selected, the standard S0, that is 0.038 dollars per thousand text. And for an image and multimodal $0.75 per thousand images. So this is all about the pricing. So by this, we came to end of the session today. So I have taken almost good time. So if you have any questions, please do let me know. I can answer that. And this is my YouTube page. You can scan and you can get it. You can subscribe to my channel. So where you will get all the tech related AI and data. And you can, this is my GitHub, and where you can check all those materials codes. If you want this particular slide and whatever the code I have used, so probably you can scan to my GitHub, and you can go, I'll show you. So you can go to my GitHub profile. So you can scan, you can go to Tech Time with Navi. So where you have the sessions all listed out here. So for today's session, we have a repo. So here you have all those things, and you'll have a code as well here. So GitHub code also here you have, so which will give you the Python images, everything. So if you want this particular, you can just scan this particular image. It will give you the PDF material, the PPT and code, everything. It will be available in the GitHub repo. And that's it. Thank you everyone for joining today's session, and let's catch up in the next interesting topic. Suraj, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Naveen, for the session. I also shared all the YouTube channel and his GitLab in the chat box as well, so you can directly go over there and check it out. Okay. Again, thank you, Naveen, for coming back and contributing in the community. We are so happy to have you. You always come back and share something in the community. Really, really do appreciate it. Um, and hope we'll have more coming up in the future.
Yeah, sure,
And
Suraj.
yeah. Thank you everyone for joining as well. I'm just gonna share the certificate link. Some people might be waiting for it, so I'm just gonna share that as well. And be sure to join our community so that you can get update about the upcoming sessions as well. So I just shared um, the link, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna also share the Discord link to join. Yeah, that's it, everyone. Thanks for joining today's session, and we have other sessions coming up next month as well. So be sure to check out our website so that you can register for it. Thank you, everyone, and have a good weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Suraj. Have a nice weekend.